Well, hello there people from the internet and welcome to more Battlefield 1. Today we're talking about the big patch that just got released for Battlefield 1. It's the patch that you've all been waiting for, and hopefully some of the changes that you wanted made it in there and it's actually playable a little bit more to your style as it is. I mean, I really wanted to see something done for the LMGs. I wanted to see them really sort of count into the fight, because as it stands you don't really have that much of a chance against the automatic or the MP trench or anything like that. There's a lot of weapons out there that will just simply outperform anything to do with support. I mean, I love the support class. I think it's a really good class. I mean, especially when you got 100 bullets to spam the shit out of enemies. I mean, there's ways that you can have, on one of the variations of the weapons, you can have 200 bullets, so you don't need to reload that fast. And you can just keep on getting behind them and just mowing them down as much as you can. So I really sort of wanted them to be in the fight, but they haven't really done too much when it comes down to the support class. They've done a bit here and there, but really they should have just given it more damage or faster rates of fire, because the rate of fire is really slow. I know you're going to give them a bit more suppression and things like that, but really when it comes down to them making a difference on the field, it's still not going to make that big of a difference on the field without them having a little bit more damage or just making them a bit more competitive as they are. Now, I'm not going to go through every single detail that they've put in, because about 90% of it is just sort of cosmetic stuff and don't really impact the game, as it were. Just to sort of give you a rough example, on Amiens, if you sort of get into a tank and you get next to the tank, the wrecked tank that's on the map, and you exit your tank and sort of get into the other one, as it were, when you're getting out, you somehow fall through the map. So maybe that was something that really needed addressing, because maybe that could have been exploited by somebody. Maybe you can get on the map and you can still shoot people or something like that, or maybe you just fall through the map and die. I've never really had that happen, but in a way it's good that they have it sorted, it's good that they have it fixed. So some of the important things that really change is basically the conquest stuff. I really wanted to see a lot of the conquest stuff being changed. I mean, the first and most important changes to this is the Suez. Suez has now got 5 flags instead of the 3. They've also sort of made the area where you capture the flag a little bit smaller. Now, it kind of doesn't really change the layout of the map. It doesn't change the fact that the map is just bad. If you start on the high ground, chances are you're going to win. Unless you have a really bad team, you're not going to. Or if you have the other team, a really good team, they probably won't. But most sort of fights always go one way. Whoever's got the high ground tends up to win. So maybe they could have put the flags left and right rather than just making them sort of all in one row, making them linear. I think that maybe would have changed things a little bit, because you'd have sort of pushed everybody away from just having the high ground all the time and just pushing. You know, it's always going to be that fight at sort of B, C, D now, since they changed it. But it's basically just that little hill where you can sort of see a little bit over it, and you can spam grenades and you can throw your mortar and you can do all that sort of stuff in there. Another thing that they've changed is what I really wanted to see. It's the AA. Now, I do enjoy the vehicles in Battlefield 1, and I was hoping that the AA is going to get quite a bit of a nerf, like the range, just cut it out a little bit, take a couple away from the map. You have the mobile artillery truck that you can use to take down planes. Bullets take down planes, everything can take down the planes. So I was kind of hoping that's going to get addressed a little bit more. They reduced the damage of the scout rifles against planes. They've increased the damage of the K bullets to the attack planes, which makes sense. The K bullet should do a bit more damage. Reduce the AA truck range to better align with stationary AA and prevent HQ camping. And increased blast damage radius of the Rankin darts, which I'm using right now. And they also decreased the damage of AA cannons against planes and plane parts. Now, it doesn't do 3 hits and that's it, you crash in. This time we'll do 5 hits and you crash in. It's still going to be overpowered. You still need to sort of outskill it somehow if you can, or try and get away from it as quickly as you can. But it's just the way it's going to be for now. I mean, it's been, what, 18 years since I've started playing in World War One, and I'm in 2016, I'm playing it in World War One. And before you say, whoa, what you talking about, Willis, World War One? Well, in 99, DICE made a game that was set in World War One. That was Codename Eagle. That was my first ever sort of Battlefield game that I played, even though it was not a Battlefield game. He had the vehicles, he had the Zeppelins, he had the bikes, he had the tanks. He had pretty much everything that a Battlefield has. Only that DICE was not called DICE back in those days. They were called Refraction Games. And after that, in 2002, when 1942 came out, they became DICE. So now you know that Battlefield 1 is not actually the first time that DICE have visited World War 1. So you can see in that sort of situation right there, you do have a bit of a chance, even though he was shooting at me. I don't think he was lined up properly. He wasn't expecting me to come back and actually engage. Now, I do have the Rankin darts that can shoot from 300 meters away, and as long as I lined him up correctly, he should not have enough time to kill me. I should get him. Now, the Rankin darts do a little bit more damage, as I mentioned earlier on, so you should be able to sort of get away from those kind of situations from time to time, not too much, because if you do get shot from the side, or he has you lined up, or you've damaged a little bit, you will crash and burn, and that's the way it's going to be. Another thing that a lot of people wanted to see changes was operations. You know, operations were getting a bit to the point where nobody really having that much fun on certain maps. So what they've done to 64 and 40 sort of player servers is increase the attacker maximum tickets from 150 to 250, increase the amount of tickets regained from killing retreating defenders after capturing sectors from 2 to 3, increase the amount of minimum tickets regained when capturing a sector in 64 players operations from 30 to 50, and slightly reduce the time it takes to capture the flag. So that's kind of the same fixes for 64 man and for 40 players, so it's not really too much there. I've mentioned Suez has been sorted, and most of them will just be one of those little things, you know, fixed for extreme weather desync between players after joining servers. You know, there's a lot of things where you really wanted the things that affect you to. I mean, the dogfights are getting a bit stupid because of the lag. I mean, all of a sudden I'm shooting at somebody, and all of a sudden he's crashed and burned, or he's just completely disappeared off my screen. You know, I really wanted that to be something where they looked into, and that's going to be something that's going to be addressed. But hooray! You can now quit the match once it's finished. There is a quit button now, so you no longer have to wait for it to reload the whole thing again and start the map before you quit in. No advance on customizing your plane or customizing your tank on the map. You still have to wait for it to spawn, click on it, customize it, and by the time you've done that, you've lost your plane and your tank. But on the other hand, you do have hardcore servers now, so you can play hardcore if you really want to. And you can also rent your own server. If you want to rent your own server, please be advised that you might need to sell part of your kidney or liver, something like that, because 30 days is 43 euros, 90 days it's 90 euros, and 180 days is 140 euros to get your own server. I'm really looking forward to some really cool map rotations. Hopefully there'll be plenty of maps out there. That's pretty much it for me. There's going to be a link in the description to everything you need to know about the patch. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know some of the things you wanted to see, and I will see you in the next one.